Today I'm going to show you how to make chicken soup with matzo balls. You do not have to boil your matzo balls in chicken soup, but that's the way I do it. You can just use a pot of water. I have the pot of water filled about this full. I made enchiladas and prep lock the other day from a store-bought chicken, and I saved the carcass of it and put it in the freezer until I was ready to do this. So I'm just gonna add all of the bones and skin and everything that was left over from that chicken. We're gonna strain this anyways. My boys are picky eaters, so they won't eat these vegetables anyways, but at least I'll get the vitamins and make a really delicious broth with them. So I take a brown onion, I leave the skin on, I just cut off the top and the bottom, and I cut it into quarters, and I include the skin. The skin will give your broth a nice color. And like I said, we're gonna strain all of that out after it's boiled for quite a while. So I just add that to the pot. Maybe. I will also take celery, and I use the top with the leaves and just chunk it up into some chunks. Add that to the pot. I have some cabbage here. Cabbage makes your broth taste really good. So I'm just gonna add some chopped up cabbage. You can use a yam or a sweet potato. I'm just gonna wash it off because I'm gonna put it in with the skin on it. And I'm just gonna cut that into some big chunks and throw that right into my water. And then I have some parsley, and I'm just gonna take the whole bunch of parsley. It's washed already, and I'm gonna throw some parsley in there. I usually use fresh dill, but I don't have any, so I'm gonna add some dried dill and a bay leaf. That one was broken, so. And I'm gonna get a spoon and stir that up and turn it on high to get it boiling, and then I'm probably gonna let this boil for at least an hour. And then I'll strain off the vegetables. That's what I boil my matzo balls in, but like I said, you can just use some kind of chicken bouillon. You can use plain water, or you can use broth that you purchased. You don't have to make a soup to make matzo balls, but it does make your matzo balls taste good to be cooked in the soup, and if you it makes your soup taste really good too. To make matzo balls, you will need matzo meal, a half a cup of matzo meal, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I use canola oil, and 2 eggs. That's the ingredients that go into the matzo balls. If you do not have any matzo meal, you can take regular sheets of matzo and put it into a food processor, or if you don't have a food processor, you can just break it up yourself. But this is a way that you can make matzo meal if you don't have any.
Can you put it in a blender?
I think you can. It works better if it's plugged in. And then you just pulse it until you can also do this to matzo meal, and you can make matzo flour that you can use in other recipes during Passover. But that's what you do, just till you get it to be like this, and that's just matzo meal. You can see that it looks just like store-bought matzo meal. So you're going to measure a half a cup of matzo ball. Not a half a cup of matzo balls, a half cup of matzo meal. My secret to making my matzo balls taste yummy is I like to add a little bit of bouillon to the matzo meal. This time I have osem. It's called consomme. It's kosher for Passover, so you can add that. And I mix it up with my half a cup of matzo meal. Then I crack 2 eggs into a bowl. Add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm using canola oil. And then you want to whisk up those eggs until they're light and frothy. And when you whisk, you go back and forth, not in a circle. If you go in a circle, your ingredients are just chasing each other around. Whisking is going back and forth. That's what makes it froth up. It takes strong arms to make nice, fluffy matzo balls. So once you have that nice and bubbly, you can add your matzo meal. And stir that up real good. And then before you roll them into balls and drop them in your boiling water or soup or broth, you're going to want it to set up for 15 minutes. So I'm just going to put that in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. And I'm waiting for my soup to boil anyways. Okay, my cameraman is very busy and he doesn't have time to wait for the soup to be done. So I'm going to show you that I'm still boiling all the stuff in the soup. The onions aren't quite soft yet, so I'm going to keep boiling that. It probably has to boil for at least an hour or simmer for an hour. With the lid on will help keep everything in the pan, and when that is done, I am going to put it through a wire strainer into another pot, and then I will just have a broth that I will be able to cook matzo balls in. But for right now, I have some water with some osem in it that's boiling, that's ready to make matzo balls in. You could use chicken broth or nor or any other kind of chicken broth, or you can do just plain water. It's up to you. To form the matzo balls, it's good if your hands are wet, if that keeps the dough from sticking on your hands. This has been in the refrigerator for 15 minutes. I took it out, and now I'm just going to roll them into balls and plop them into rapidly boiling soup type liquid. So we'll just roll those up. You don't want to touch them too much. If you roll them too tight, then they won't fluff up. So the key is to try to not touch them too much and just form your balls and get them into the pot. Once we do that, we're going to put the cover on it and let them simmer for 20 minutes, and they should puff up nice, and we'll have some delicious matzo balls. So I'm gonna tell you the recipe one more time, so you have it. You're going to use for one batch of matzo balls you need a half a cup of matzo meal, 2 eggs, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. That's all you need. Those are the only ingredients in matzo balls. So you mix up the eggs and the oil first, then you add in the matzo meal, then you put it in the refrigerator for 15 minutes, then you wet your hands and form the dough into balls, and you put them into boiling liquid, and you put a lid on the top, and you let them cook for 20 minutes before you eat them. And that's how to make matzo balls. We do serve the soup with sliced carrots. So after I strain off these vegetables and the skins and the bones and everything that are in this pot, I will add some sliced carrots. So I will serve the soup with the matzo balls and sliced carrots during Passover. When it's not Passover, I will also make some noodles to put in the soup because everybody likes noodles in their chicken soup.
What?
Okay, I'm boiling some noodles because it's not Passover yet, so I have some egg noodles boiling, and they should be ready in about a minute to drain to add to our soup. And as you can see, our broth has cooked down and everything is cooked and mushy, so I'm going to strain it all off so we can use it for our soup. I just have another pot here and a wire strainer, and I'm just gonna pour. Sorry, it's hard to get a good picture. We do it over the sink so I don't make a big mess. And I just strain off all the good stuff that we boiled up, and then we'll just have broth for the soup. And this is our matzo balls. Happy Passover.